Let's see, today we have here on the workbench, it's a, this is a Proto 2000 GP9, and we're going to put, this is DCC ready, so it has the plug, and you can see the plug here, which the plug is upside down right now, so we'll be able to unplug that. And what we're going to install, I've got a Digitrax SDXH166D, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know I've put this decoder in several locomotives. They're really simple to put in. They're simple to program. Just a real easy decoder. If you're thinking about putting a decoder in a locomotive, or you've never done it before and you want to get your feet wet, I'd say grab one of these and put it in. The one thing about it, Digitrax has a great warranty on these, and I believe it is in Digitrax calls it a no worries warranty against manufacturing defects and accidental customer damage, and I believe that it is, well, I don't want to tell you wrong, I can't find it here in the manual real quick. You'd have to look on their website. I believe it is a 1-year warranty, that even if you do something to it, they will replace this at no cost. So that's one of the reasons that I really like to put these Digitrax decoders in, is because of their warranty. And with the decoder, I have, this is the Digitrax DHWHPS. It is an 8 plug, and you really can't see it here. I'll get it out of the plastic. But this has an 8-pin plug on it that will be able to plug into our 9-pin side of the decoder, and that may not make any sense, me just saying that. Let me open this. I'll get this open, and I'll show you this little whip. Yeah, it's just a plug, and that's really all it is. And it's an 8-pin plug. You can see all 8 of those pins right there. What that does on the decoder, get it out of the bag here. What I can do is that will let me take this whole side of the decoder in my left hand here, and I can unplug this. Well, I should be able to unplug that. I'll get that unplugged from the decoder. Set that aside. Then what I can do is this 8-pin connector takes the place of this whip. So that'll save us on cutting a lot of wire, and since this is DCC ready, it will just plug in, and right off the bat we'll have our sound, all of our functions And so, yeah, that just plugs in like that. Get it oriented right. And that is basically what we'll end up doing. Plug that in. So, let me just make sure I've got it. I'll make sure I've got it in there good. And I've said this before in other videos, that even with the factory plug that it comes with, this one, always make sure that you push in on that one. Now this one, I had to pull it out. It was fairly difficult to pull out, which it should be. But I've had them before, made it through the whole install, and started to test it, and the plug was unplugged. It would move for a second, then it would quit, and then you're trying to troubleshoot, and it was all down to the plug. So right there, and let me get this shell out of the way. What we'll do with this is we'll end up unplugging this, and I'll just go ahead and do that right now so you can see that this is the whole plug. This is what we'll be plugging this into. Since I have a speaker, and I'll have my capacitor for my speaker, I'll have to probably, but I'm not sure yet, I'll probably have to machine some of the frame out. So I will have to look at that. I may be able to set it in the cab. I may be able to even put I can put a smaller speaker in it. I've got some 11 by 15 sugar cubes that I could possibly put in here. I don't know if this, maybe, it's a little wide for that. It'd be great if it would fit in there. But, no. Nope, it won't fit like that. So we will, I may end up pulling this area out, and to do that I will end up I'll pull the motor out and both sets of trucks off. That way I won't get anything in, no metal shavings in either one. Now the other thing with these Protos, they had a habit of the gears cracking on the center of the axle, and I do have replacement axles. These are from Walthers, and it's the complete set. So, well, there's one set, here's the other set. You can take and you can buy just the center gear itself. Athearn has a gear for those that you can buy. So now this locomotive was new in the box. So, but even still, because I've had some myself that were new in the box, and the gears, I guess just because of the age, had split. So that may be another thing that I'll have to do to this locomotive. But we'll get into that when the time comes. But basically what this will end up doing, this will plug in, and these are numbered. And we'll have to make sure that we do get the numbering right on the board. Let's see, and I believe, yeah, the board, if you can see, well, you can't. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Yeah, I don't think that's going to focus. Let me pull back out of that again. I'll get as close to it as I can. All right. Oh. Okay. There, we're focused. You can see that these are numbered. There's position number 8. And then it goes back 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can see the little number 1 there, 2, 3, 4. And number 1 position is always the orange wire right there. So that is this peg right here. Okay, so I have to make sure that that peg, the orange number 1, is in the orange number 1 right here. So basically this is going to have to be turned this way to plug in, which throws it toward the back of the unit, and really just plugging that in right there like that. This locomotive is already with sound. Now it's just a matter of making sure everything is tucked in where it needs to be. We'll get all of that. May end up removing some wires that we won't need. So, you know, that'll tuck in there. I'll probably turn this board over. I'll remove some of the wires that we won't need right here on these. So, all right, let me shut this off for a second. We'll see what we need to do, make us a plan, and then I'll come back and I'll share that with you. All right, brought you back here. I think I've got a plan here now. I have, of course, you can see I've removed the front and the rear couplers. See that? It's no biggie. But what I've been doing here for the last few minutes is trying to figure out where or what I need to remove, what metal I need to remove. And what I have come up with is back here where the board is, that board's going to have to set in here like this. My connector will come out like that, but in turn I'm going to have to remove part of this frame right in here, and there is a channel. I don't know how well you can pick that up, but there is a channel right in there. So I'll remove this. That will let the decoder, well, not the decoder, but this board and the connector, that will let that sit down in here. And with that, I'll go ahead and I'll remove probably up through here. I'm going to remove this section and this section. I'll bring it down at least flush with this. That way I'll have room for my speaker. A good rule of thumb, I think, when putting something extra in here, usually these pieces in here are the height, is the maximum height that you can have. So if I put this speaker in, say I want to put that speaker in right there. Let me lay this down flat. Say I want to put that speaker in right there. I know that when I go to put that body on, that if I mount that speaker right like that, it is not, the body will not sit flush. It won't sit like it's supposed to. So normally these sections like this are the maximum height you want to go, and that have anything sticking up. That way you'll always be able to get your body back on to sit down correctly. And you'll see that if you take note here. I'll probably take a picture of this and then I'll post that right before the section I show you after I remove the metal. But what I'll do right now is I'll go through and I'll pull out the motor. I'll pull off the front and the rear trucks. That way I won't get anything in there in either one of those. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do that off camera, and then after I get everything milled, I'll bring you back and we'll go ahead with the install. Okay, now I know I talked about I'd have to remove the motor and everything. Well, with this GP9, I won't have to remove the motor. This whole weight had 4 screws. There's 2 here under the fuel tank, and there was 1 right in here on each end. And you can't see that one. But anyway, what that does is that lifts the whole weight off, so I don't have to remove the motor or the trucks. But I'll have to take it and unsolder these 2 connections and my motor connections. So I'll get to that, and then I'll bring you back after I get everything shaved off. Okay, now like you can see, I've got the frame milled, I've got the body back on, well, I got the frame back on. I did go ahead and hook up, I changed out the bulbs because the other ones would not work, and I should have known that, but anyway, they didn't work, so I put in some LEDs. So I've already got the LEDs hooked up. You can see that there, and I've got the front one hooked up. So they'll just go right back in, and they'll sit right in there like they're supposed to. And I'll end up putting some heat shrink tubing over that. That way it'll sit down in there real nice. Same thing back here. I'll put some heat shrink tube. Of course, you got this little piece that goes over top of it, so that'll actually, you know, there won't be any light leakage through there. But that's where I'm at right now. The decoder, of course, is sitting here. Put some Kapton tape down. That way, because you can see this board, you know, is open there, and I don't want it to short out. So I'll get a little farther along here and then bring you back in. Hopefully when I come back I'll get the speaker mounted, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I've got the installation completed. Got the Kapton tape back here underneath this board. Got my light boards taped down. Speaker is double-sided taped down there, and that is a little crooked, but it'll be all right. So from the side, that's what it looks like there from the side, and the other side. So I can go ahead, I'll go ahead and put the body on this, and the capacitor I put in there just above the drive shaft. I fastened it back to the frame here, and I always put liquid black tape on the capacitor so it doesn't short out. So this is ready to go back together. So I'll put it back together, and the next time we see it here, I'll have it up on the test track, and we'll run through the lights and everything. We'll make sure they all work. So at least we've got this far. Here you can see that I've got this. I've got the body back on this locomotive, and you can see on this on the rear trucks right here. These Protos are bad about the gears cracking, so I wanted to take it apart and look, and I do have an extra set of gears here for them, but well, you can see, you might be able to see that this gear is cracked in two places where it joins the axle together, and there's one right there where I've got the blade in there, and you really can't see that on the camera because it is a really fine crack. Maybe if I open it up there a little bit, you can see it. Anyway, these are cracked. Like I say, I do have a set of these, so I will change them out. Of course, saying that, I want to make sure that these new ones are the wheels are engaged. So I'll get out my NMRA gauge, and you can see that that set's good, and that set's good. So we can change those out. These are the bad ones. We'll get them out of the way. I'll go ahead and put, like I always do, I'll lube this up a little bit. So just a little dab in there, little dab in there. So that'll take care of our lube on the rear axle. And I'll do the same thing for the front. So we'll go ahead, and those they'll just drop in once we get our bushing straight. And that one didn't. Yep. So there's one. Drop our second one in. Get our bushing straight. That'll drop right in. And then this that just clips right down on there. And I'll go ahead, let's see. I don't know if I can get this on camera or not. Let me try. Let's see what that does. I may end up running out of battery here. What I do, I'll stick my knife blade here in the side. Get that side. There's a little clip there. Same thing that one. Same thing out here on the front. Yep. There we go. Just pops right off. Okay. Let's pull this one out. Check it for, yep, see. You can see the crack very visible in that one on both sides. So I know that one's no good. And this one also. You see the crack right in there. So I've got another set here. I'll go ahead, open this up. Set them over there to the side because my battery is, I am down to 3 minutes on my battery. Go ahead and put some lube in there. There's my lube. My battery will hold out. Down to 2 minutes on the battery. I'm under the clock here. On the clock. See if we can get these installed. There's one. Everything's lined up. Two. Yep. Down to the very last seconds. Done. Before my battery ran out. So now we'll put this up on the test track and see what we have. Okay, we've got our let's see, this is a GP9 all finished up, and now we'll just show you what we've done here a little bit. Got our rear light there, and you probably can't see that. I've got it on my roller stands. You'll be able to hear it running there. We've got our horn, our bell. We got, there's our coupler. Let's see. We've got our dynamic brake. Our letting off air. That's a grade crossing. Of course, function 8 is mute. 9, that's our brake squeal. So, and that's pretty much it with this install. So, I'll turn it around here and let you see the front, see what the lights. Now I did change the LED or the regular light bulb out, put LED in there, and it is one bulb. It controls the lights and the number boards. So as you can see there, going on and off. So let me turn the locomotive around on the stands, and then you can see it from the front. Okay, now I've turned our locomotive around, and let's see, we've got our headlight, starts up, of course our bell, our horn, start on moving forward, and which again you can't see there, but it is on the stands. A little dynamic brake. So that is this install completed, and we'll get that back to the club and try it out a little bit. So for this one, I think we are well, actually I need to program that to locomotive 29, then it'll be done. So alright, thanks for watching.